values alongside our diplomatic efforts, our economy. And the people-to-people relations that help to spread those core beliefs that all of you are willing to sacrifice for. So I want to say thank you to you. I want to especially say thank you to those who are serving overseas and who are watching here today, because many of them are away from family right now. We are grateful. For your service. I don't have a greater honor than serving as your Commander-in-Chief. And every single day I see the extraordinary work that you do, and I benefit from it as well. So with that, why don't we start taking some questions? Moderator Perry: yes, of course, sir. As you mentioned, we do have family members and service members worldwide watching. This worldwide troop talk through American Forces Network and on ships at sea. We're going to go out there in a little bit. But the first question, we do want to be represented from one of the many service members we have here. So the first question will go out to the audience if someone has one ready. Sergeant Harvey. Sergeant Harvey, good morning, Mr. President, good afternoon. President Obama, good afternoon. Sergeant Harvey, I'm Sergeant Brianna Harvey, Ph. I'm from Texas. And my question is, what made you initiate MBK on the 27th? Of February in 2014? And will you create something similar for females? And what will you miss the most once you're no longer president and out of the Oval Office? President Obama, well, those are great questions. What part of Texas you from? Sergeant Harvey, Harker Heights, Texas. President Obama, Harker Heights, Texas. Sergeant Harvey, yes, Mr. President. President Obama, well, tell everybody back home I said hi. Sergeant Harvey, yes, sir. President Obama, for service members who aren't aware. What we're referring to when we talk about MBK is what we call my brother's keeper. One of the most important principles I think of America is that no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, if you work hard, you can get ahead. And there are pockets of poverty in places where people don't have an opportunity. And that's particularly true among young men who too often are ending up in prison instead of going to school or serving in our military. And so what we've been trying to do is to set up mentorship programs. Make sure that they're aware of what's going on, provide them with job training. I had a meeting with some folks in New Orleans, young men who just come from terrible circumstances, terrible neighborhoods. And we want to make sure that they are aware of how they can break the cycle and do right by themselves and ultimately do right by their families. And one of the young men who was sitting next to me was interested in enrolling in the Marines. but he was worried that he had heard a rumor that he might not be able to serve in the Marines if he had tattoos. I said, I don't think I've met a lot of Marines, I don't think that's going to be a problem. But it gives you a sense of some young people are so out of the loop and have so little exposure. That they don't know where to go and how to apply themselves in ways that allow them to succeed. So we are working diligently on that, not just ourselves. But businesses and our military leaders are helping out on this issue. Young women, we have a whole other set of initiatives in the White House called We have a White House Council on Women and Girls to provide opportunity for them as well. I have to say, generally, the young women are doing better than the young men. That's because you guys are a little smarter, but obviously they need opportunities as well. In terms of what I'm going to miss the most, I meant what I said. The greatest privilege I have is serving as your commander-in-chief. When I travel around the world, every place I go, I see folks who are doing incredible work. And it's not typically fighting. A lot of times it's helping train other countries so that they can secure themselves. A lot of times it's helping on engineering projects or development projects or helping people after a natural disaster. You are ambassadors and spread goodwill around the world every single day at enormous sacrifice to yourselves. And so I'll miss that a lot. The plane is nice, too, I got to admit, but my lease is running out. So I'm hoping that I'm not going to have to start taking off my shoes again going through security. What I won't miss is the fact that I live in what's called the bubble. Right, so they don't let me go anywhere. So if I just want to go take a walk, I've got to have helicopters and boats and all that stuff. And even when I cross the Potomac, they've got everybody in position. And I can't just on a Saturday morning go down to Starbucks or something, not shave. It sounds pretty good to me. So those are some of the things I'll be doing when I get out of here. And I probably won't wear a tie for at least a month. Thank you very much. Sergeant Harvey, thank you, Mr. President. Moderator Perry, thank you, Sergeant Harvey, for that question. I promised we were going to go worldwide, sir, and we are. Your first question from overseas is a place that you are familiar with. You've traveled there a few times and I'm sure our service members are familiar with it as well. Our first question is going to come from downrange. And Petty Officer Laurie Bent is going to take us there. Petty Officer Laurie Bent, Moderator, Mr. President, we have your first live satellite question from Afghanistan. We have Sergeant Aaron Giese. Sergeant Giese, if you can hear me, go ahead and nod. You are on the line with the President. Go ahead with your question. Sergeant Giese, good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Sergeant Aaron Giese. And I first want to take time to thank you for the opportunity to speak with me today. President Obama, thank you, Aaron. Sergeant Giese, my question for you is, due to the recent Russian activity in Syria and the possibility of future activity, how will that affect our current military strategy within the region? President Obama, well, it's a great question, Aaron. First of all, let me just say thank you for your service, and please tell everybody in your unit that we appreciate them as well. That we're thinking about them and you're in our thoughts and prayers. As I indicated in my opening remarks, we've done an incredible job in going after and systematically dismantling the core Al-Qaeda network that was operating primarily in the FATA region between Afghanistan and Pakistan. They still pose a threat, but it is much diminished. But what's happened with this radical? Violent extremism is that it's metastasized and it's spread to other areas. And right now, ground zero for those activities is in Syria with ISIL. And our strategy has consistently been that we will use our air power to support efforts by Iraqi security forces on the ground and where we can find it, moderate opposition inside of Syria to push back on ISIL to put pressure on them. To go after their financing, to go after their networks, their supplies. A lot of their operations are funded by oil sales, and so blocking those going after the infrastructure that they've built up. Those strategies will all continue. The challenge we've had in Syria is that the president there, Bashar al-Assad, has been so destructive towards his own people. Destroying entire cities, dropping bombs. Creating a sectarian conflict between Shia and Sunni inside of Syria, that it has become a magnet for jihadists throughout the region. And the good news is that Russia shares with us a concern about countering. Violent extremism and shares with us the view that ISIL is very dangerous. So despite our conflicts with Russia in areas like Ukraine, this is an area potentially of converging interest. The bad news is that Russia continues to believe that Assad who is their traditional partner, is somebody that is worthy of continuing support. And it has been my view and the view of the United States government that as long as Assad is there, he has alienated so much of the Syrian population that it will not be possible to arrive at a peaceful ceasefire and political settlement. And you'll continue to have this vacuum that's filled by extremists. So Russia has, for many years now, provided financial support, sold arms to Assad. I remember a conversation I had with Mr. Putin 4 or 5 years ago, where I told him that was a mistake. It would make things worse as long as he continued to support Assad. He did not take my warnings, and as a consequence things have gotten worse.